Caitlyn Q, Piltover Peacemaker, has a very lengthy cast time to the point that can leave her quite vulnerable to bubble in the early game. In this video, we'll look at how to punish her, as well as a few considerations for when to do this. Firstly, the how. Caitlyn Q has a lengthy and distinctive animation, which means she cannot move for a little over 0.6 seconds. She can buffer a movement command during the animation, which will be executed once the animation finishes, and she can use E to dash in direction at the end of the animation as well. The range is quite long at 1300 units, and Caitlyn herself has an auto attack range of 650. She'll often try to use it to push a minion wave and position in a way where she can hit most of it, and this makes her intent quite telegraphed, which you can prepare for. As ever, Nami's Q takes a second to cast and land, so if you are very quick or anticipate Caitlyn's Q, you can reliably bubble her in the early game before she has boots. Make sure that you aim right on top of her. If you attempt to place it behind her, for example, then she can recognise this during the cast time of her Q and then just walk in a safe direction. You can also combo with W and E to slow her briefly, and that makes it impossible for her to walk out unless you're slow to bubble. To do this, you use bubble as soon as you see her begin the animation for Q. You W her and then you E yourself whilst W is in midair. It must be done in this order because of cast times, and if done correctly then it works reliably as long as you do not have to walk into range to W. Practice it in a few times in customs if necessary. Self-casting E while W is in flight is a mechanic you should be comfortable doing anyway as Nami. You should also be able to follow up W with an E empowered auto attack for extra damage, even if she dashes away with net. Once she has boots, it's not as reliable and she should just be able to walk out, but until then she is forced to net away and still take a fair bit of damage from you. Since net is on a long cooldown early and uses a fair amount of mana, this is completely fine for you. Just don't get hit by the net if possible. Now that we know how to do this, it's important to remember that Caitlyn doesn't have to use Q. If you're ever in range to use W, she can just hold it and normally auto attack you. This means you need to play the matchup in one of two ways. Either you rely on spacing and just throwing out bubbles that may catch her but are less reliable since you can't apply a slow to her, or you play around bushes so she can't just freely auto attack you. You would do the first if you don't particularly care about holding bubble in order to disengage, or if you can't play around bushes, because generally you should just be playing around bushes as support, so the latter is preferable. Apologies to the 6 Caitlyn mains still out there for making your life even harder, but to everyone else, thanks for watching and have a great day.